APC is a division of Schneider Electric. We're a $3 billion division of Schneider Electric. We manufacture power distribution systems that support the IT industry. So for example, on our commercial side, we sell the power distribution equipment that supports data centers throughout the world. And we also supply many products to support telecommunications, medical infrastructure, these types of very high reliability operations. Now, from a regulatory perspective, our products have been challenged over the last few years by new regulations that have been emerging. And this challenge has been something that has been very difficult and interesting for us to deal with over the past 4 years. In 2004, APC recognized that emerging environmental regulations coming out of Europe were going to have a major effect on our products. These environmental regulations affected how we design our products, specifically the kinds of substances that could be used in the components that our products are made out of. These emerging environmental regulations pose quite a challenge to companies like APC because this is data that our systems were really never equipped to handle. We never envisioned 30 years ago that we would be required to be tracking what our products were made out of. And so the systems, the place to put that data just doesn't exist within our data, did not exist within our data systems. So 4 years ago, we had to have a process within our company to be able to design our products to meet these regulations. When we looked at our design process, the way we designed and manufactured products, we didn't have a place within our systems where we could adequately maintain and manage this data. And so a lot of our effort was creating that process so that we could adequately meet these regulations. Now, from a business perspective, these emerging regulations have a great deal of possible effect on our company. To give you the example, I have with me this little cage nut that is used in the manufacture or used in our products. This little cage nut appeared in a product that we sell into the Japanese market because this little unit, which costs pennies, appeared in our product. Over $50 million of APC product to be shipped into Japan was put on hold until we were able to prove that our products could be designed and built without this product, this particular component. And this is just one example, and there are many other opportunities for non-compliant components to appear in our product and potentially affect the sale of our products into specific markets. If you look at this environmental compliance issue, environmental compliance from a product focus standpoint requires the collection of very unique data about the components that we use to make our product. This data is data that's typically not obtained by our existing engineering systems. So what we needed to do was select a software tool that both would allow us to collect that data, efficiently manage it, and then use it in a way to design and demonstrate that our products met whatever regulation they were subject to. And so when we were looking back in 2004 on how we were going to meet these regulations, we realized that we needed a solution that could be integrated into our existing system for designing and products that could maintain all of this compliance data. After reviewing a number of competitive products, we looked at the PTC Insight product, and we were able to show to ourselves that this product had the ability to reside within the native systems that we use in our company to both design products in our ERP in a way that both allowed us to capture and maintain compliance data, but also deliver it to the people in the business who need that information in a way that affects their decisions. So for example, if you look again at my cage nut here, a purchasing person has to be able to look at this product when they buy it and determine, is the one I'm buying compliant or not? And the PTC Insight solution, the way we've implemented it within our company, we can deliver that compliance data to that purchasing person, so when that person makes or enters the PO and delivers or gets that component, it will be the compliant component. APC had to manufacture roughly 8,000 different products. When we look at these environmental regulations, about 8,000 total products, about 4,000 of them are being sold into parts of the world where these environmental requirements are law. If you look at those 4,000 components, products, they're manufactured with roughly 20,000 APC components and another 60,000 supplier components. We were able to implement PTC Insight in such a way that we were able to obtain data from our suppliers for those 60,000 components, bring that data into our organization, and use that data to make certain that the products that we were manufacturing were conforming with the environmental requirements as necessary. As I said initially, and one of the best ways to describe this is to kind of talk about the negative stories. And obviously my cage nut here is such an example. Having products that we can confirm as compliant allows us to stay in markets in ways that would not have been possible if we were delivering products with non-compliant components. And it doesn't take very many cases of having non-compliant components to very quickly teach the organization that this is a bad thing. And so, to that extent, PTC Insight has allowed us and given us the tools to ensure that that doesn't happen. Secondly, because the PTC Insight tool allowed us to integrate into the APC business processes, we were able to disperse that information to all the parties within the organization who needed it. That purchasing agent got information about the compliance of the materials that they were purchasing. But on the flip side, they were also able to understand and see what data was necessary to prove environmental compliance. And so by them getting and seeing the data, or the lack of the data, they became almost delegated the responsibility to collect the data. As an example, when we began our process, we were collecting data manually. We were using environmental engineers to do so. These environmental engineers, it cost $100 an hour to pay for them. And we were able to collect 3% of our data using environmental engineers at what ultimately was a very large cost. Using the PTC Insight solution and the tool set that it provides, we were able to, as I indicated earlier, delegate other people in our organization to collect this environmental compliance information. These people typically are much lower cost than the engineers. And so we were able to use them to collect this data at a significantly lower cost than what it would have cost if we had continued to do it using the engineers. The numbers that I use is that our overall costs were reduced about 1/5 of what it would have been using our engineering staff. APC is really pursuing an environmental product marketing strategy. Having the data in PTC Insight that compliance data regarding our products supported this marketing strategy. If we didn't have that data, then this type of marketing strategy would have been much more difficult to pursue.